About 4 years ago, I mounted a campaign right here on the Senate floor against a bill that would come to be known as Obamacare. Nearly every day we were in session, I spoke about the dangers of this bill for individuals, for families, for businesses, and the very character of our country. I predicted it would be a complete disaster, and that anyone who voted for it would come to regret it, because the promises that were being made about Obamacare couldn't possibly be kept. And guess what happened? These predictions are all coming true. Obamacare hasn't even been fully implemented yet, but we can already see the train wreck headed our way. Premiums are skyrocketing. Major companies have been dropping the health care plans their employees have and like. And every week it seems there are new reports about glitches that will hurt families, compromise personal information, or expose the American people to fraud. All of which helps explain why even some of the bill's fiercest early backers are looking for an escape hatch. But there's only one escape hatch that will fully help those trapped by this law, and that's full repeal. And that's why I'm supporting the House-passed CR. Not only does it defund this terrible law, it doesn't increase government spending by a penny, and it keeps the government from shutting down, which nobody wants. And it does something else, and this is really important. It puts the focus right where it belongs on the Democrats who voted for and continue to support Obamacare. Because once we invoke cloture, Mr. President, the focus will then turn to our friends on the other side of the aisle, the Senate Democrats. The Majority Leader is counting on his Democratic allies to amend the bill. He can only afford to lose 4 Democrats, just 4, if he wants to restore funding for Obamacare. So if 5 Senate Democrats vote against the Majority Leader, Obamacare will be defunded. That, Mr. President, is a vote we should have, and in all likelihood will have. Democrats have been hearing the same complaints about Obamacare that the rest of us have. The spotlight really should be on them. This is a rare opportunity to defund the law with a simple majority to defund Obamacare. We should have that vote. It just doesn't happen. I just don't happen to think filibustering a bill that defunds Obamacare is the best route to defunding Obamacare. All it does is shut down the government and keep Obamacare funded, and none of us want that. That would be the results of filibustering. 4 years ago, every Democrat voted for this bill and had the excuse that they didn't know how it would turn out. Well, they don't have that excuse now. I think we deserve to know where they stand now. 4 years ago, every Senate Democrat worked to jam this bill through the Senate over the loud objections of their constituents, and the implementation of this law proceeds. Their constituents remain just as angry about it, and it's important for their senators to go on record once again. We're giving them a do-over, a second chance, if you will. Do they stand with the people of their states who do not want this law to be implemented? Or do they double down on this failed experiment? That's the question. Everybody knows where Republicans stand on this issue. We may be divided on some things. We may not always agree on tactics. But on the question of repealing Obamacare, we're totally united. This law should be defunded. That's what the House bill does. That's why I plan to support it. But if we're going to repeal Obamacare, we're going to need some Democratic votes to do it. That's the only plan I've seen in this debate that will actually get us to our common goal of undoing the law. For the sake of our constituents, we need to unite to achieve it. So this morning, I'd like to make a plea to our friends on the other side. Join us in taking it off the books and replacing it with the kind of common sense, step-by-step reforms that lower costs and that Americans will actually embrace. Mr. President, I yield the floor.